Bruchim habayim b'shem Hashem. Blessed are all those joining us in the name of Hashem. My name is Rabbi Yisrael Kamenetsky, and I have the privilege of welcoming over 40 yeshiva high schools world as we celebrate a Siyum, the completion of Shisha Sidrei Mishnah, commemorating the culmination of the Shloshim, the 30-day mourning period of Ezra Schwartz, Yechiel Ezra ben Ari Yonah Hashem Yikom Damo. As so many yeshivos did, our yeshiva took upon ourselves to finish Tanakh in addition to the Mishnayos. In my own learning, I had the privilege of learning the middle 10 chapters of Mishlei, the book of Proverbs. And there I noticed the pasuk, Birav Am Hadras Melech. When so many people of the nation get together, this is the glory of the king. What a Kiddush Hashem. What a celebration of the Achdus of the people of Israel. Mi ka'amcha Yisrael. Who is like the Jewish people? This that we are all doing together, bringing thousands of Jewish students for the study of Torah together. What a special Ilui Neshama. What a special elevation for Ezra's soul. The Torah study that thousands of American and Canadian high school students took upon themselves in Ezra's memory. What a beautiful Jewish response to terrorism and murder. Life. In the Mariv service we say every night, Kihem chayenu va'orech yamenu. Torah study is the lifeblood of the Jewish people. We demonstrate today collectively that through the joint study of Torah, Ezra's memory will live on, and the Jewish people will continue to live on. This Siyum was primarily the joint brainchild of three individuals, Rabbi Donnie Cooper of the DRS Yeshiva High School in Woodmere, Rabbi Meir Wexler of the Sheck Hillel Community School in South Florida, and Rabbi Maccabee Avishur of the Yeshiva University School Partnership. And we thank them for their efforts on behalf of this Siyum. I would just like to acknowledge the virtual presence of Ezra's close friends and family from Sharon, Massachusetts, including Ezra's parents who are watching live with us. Along with so many others, I went to Sharon to pay a Shiva visit to them, and I know I speak for so many when I say that the strength that they have exhibited in this time of great challenge has been a lift for all who have been affected by this tragedy. We wish you that this Siyum and the thoughts and prayers of Jews all over the world with you and for you serve as a little bit of a nechama, some small measure of consolation to you on your loss. In the days following Ezra's murder, Rabbi Gach Yudin, Rosh Yeshiva of Yeshivat Ashreinu in Israel, where Ezra was studying in Israel, helped bring solace and comfort to Ezra's family and to all of us who were grieving over the tragedy with his inspiring eulogies, both in Israel and in America at Ezra's funeral. At this time, it is our honor to hear words of strength and inspiration from Israel, from Rabbi Gach Yudin. Please give your attention to Rabbi Yudin.
Yosef and his brothers, and the Torah tells us about a special reunion between two of the brothers, Yosef and Binyamin. And we all know that there's not an extra word, an extra letter in the Torah. And the Torah describes to us the details of this reunion. The Torah tells us that the two brothers, when they got together, they cried. Yosef and Binyamin cried. First of all, why'd they cry? Where's the whoopee? Where's the high five? Where's the fact we haven't seen each other for so many years? But the Torah goes out of its way to tell us that they were crying. So Rashi on the spot tells us something beautiful. that when they were crying, they weren't just crying out of the emotion of seeing each other, but Rashi tells us that they were both crying over the fact that in the future, both Batei Migdash and the Mishkan, which was found in Yosef's portion, and the Beit HaMikdash in Binyamin's portion, would be destroyed. But again, why the emphasis of this act of crying at this time? I saw such a beautiful answer that says that we know that the terrible Avera that took place leading up to this was Sinat Chinam, was unfortunate, terrible hatred between the brothers and Yosef. And now, when the two brothers get together in order to see each other and they cry, they weren't crying, there's a detail here, they weren't crying about each other's, about their own Beit HaMikdash. Yosef was crying about the fact that Binyamin's Beit HaMikdash, the two Batei Mikdash and Binyamin's Chelek, would be destroyed. And vice versa, Yosef was crying about Binyamin, and Binyamin was crying about Yosef. There was such a beautiful aspect of Avat Chinam. There was such a beautiful aspect of each other crying about the other person's needs. And in such a beautiful way, they were crying through Avat Chinam. Ladies and gentlemen, the Beis HaMikdash was destroyed because of Sinat Chinam, because of this. And the Torah, in such a beautiful way, is maybe giving us the antidote to address this idea of Sinat Chinam, of hatred amongst the brothers, by showing how Binyamin and Yosef were able to cry for one another. Many of you listening today may not have had the pleasure or the privilege of knowing Ezra Schwartz, Olav Shalom. But Ezra was someone who loved people, and people loved being around him. Whether it was little kids, his own peers, adults, there was a certain magic, there was a certain ava, there was a certain specialness of warmth that you felt being around Ezra. This week's Parashas Vayechi, starts off with the words Vayechi Yaakov, and Yaakov lived. And the Torah is trying to tell us that Yaakov passed away. And our Chazal on these words, Vayechi Yaakov, tell us that tzaddikim, righteous people, af b'mitatan nikru chayim, even when they are not alive, tzaddikim are considered to be alive. Ezra Schwartz, Hashem Yikom Damo, no question in my mind, falls into this category. Look how much learning he has inspired. Ezra made important decisions in his life. He decided that he wanted to come to Eretz Yisrael, to Yeshivat Ashrenu, for a year to learn. He decided that half of the day he would learn, and the other half of the day he decided he wanted to do chesed. And he decided that he wanted terribly to connect to Eretz Yisrael and the Tiyulim that we had a chance to do together all the time. Everybody here, and everybody watching, and everybody who has learned and contributed to this Siyum today has enabled the concept of Vayechi Ezra, that Ezra's legacy, the Ezra Schwartz memory of all the important things that Ezra stood for. It was the idea that he wanted to finish Tanakh, which ringed in everybody's ears, and which enabled all of us to finish Mishnayos today and finish so much of Torah in his memory. Ezra's idea of a love for Eretz Yisrael and a connection to Eretz Yisrael should strengthen all of us in our connection and our desire to be a part of what's going on in Eretz Yisrael. And last, but by no means least, Ezra's ultimate legacy of being someone who was so friendly and person smile and looking to make the other person laugh. This Ezra in every way, shape, or form, and the idea of Avat Chinam. This is why the Torah goes out of its way to tell us that Yosef and Binyamin were crying. This is what it means, Vayechi Yaakov. This, please God, the acts that we've done up until now, and please God, the acts that we will continue to do of learning and connecting to Eretz Yisrael and doing chesed and showing acts of ahavat chinam, acts of unlimited love to one another. Please God, may this be a way that Ezra's memory will be a legacy and a blessing to all of us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rabbi Yudin. We will now begin the actual Siyum. Representing the more than 40 yeshivot that have learned Mishnayot in Ezra's memory, 6 representative schools will learn one Mishnah from each one of the Shisha Sidrei Mishnah, the 6 orders of the Mishnah. For the first 2 Mishnayot, we call upon the Ida Crown Jewish Academy in Chicago, Illinois, to learn the first Mishnah from Seder Zerayim. They will be followed by the Frisch School in Paramus, New Jersey, who will learn a Mishnah from Seder Kodshim. Please give your attention to the Ida Crown Jewish Academy in Chicago.
את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך בכל לבבך בשני יצריך ביצר הטוב וביצר הרע בכל נפשך אפילו הוא נוטל על את נפשך ובכל מאודיך בכל ממונך דבר אחר בכל מאודיך בכל מידה ומידה שהוא מודד לך הווה מודה לו במאוד מאוד. A person is obligated to bless upon the bad just as he blesses upon the good. As it says, and you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart and all your soul and with all that you have. With all your heart, with your 2 inclinations, with the inclination of good and with the inclination of evil, and in all your soul, even if he takes your soul, and with all that you have, with all your money, alternatively, with all that you have. With every measure that is measured for you, thank him very much.
A person may not take a mother with its offspring, even to purify the leper. And just as a light commandment that is like an Isar, a specific small unit of money. Amra Torah, the Torah said, in order to be good for you, and you will lengthen your days. All the more so for weighty commandments which are in the Torah.
And now we're going to ask, after the first 2 Mishnayot, we're going to take a short musical break. We're so happy that Rabbi Eitan Katz, internationally renowned singer, has joined us here, and all of the high schools throughout North America will join Eitan together in singing a song in memory of Ezra. Please give your attention to Eitan Katz.
למענך אלוהינו עשה ולבוא לנו ראי עמידתנו דלים ובריקים. Oh, and sing along למענך וילם אביקנו עשה ולבוא לנו ראי עמידתנו דלים ובריקים. נשב המלאך ליגוף פרלך חוסן על המלאך הנשמה One more time. Shamalach Neyagov Balach Chosam Halamalach Haneshama.
Thank you so much, Rav Eitan. We will now hear two more Mishnayot. One Mishnah representing Seder Moed from the Rabbi Alexander S. Gross Hebrew Academy of Miami, Florida, followed by a Mishnah representing Seder Nezikin from the Yeshiva University of Los Angeles, EULA, in Los Angeles, California.
And from where did they light these mountain fires? Mehar HaMishcha Sartava, from the Mount of Olives to Sartava, from Sartava to Grofina, and from Sartava to Grofina, from Grofina to Chavran, and from Grofina to Chavran, from Chavran to Beit Biltim, and from Chavran to Beit Biltim. From Beit Biltim, Lo Zazu Misham, and from Beit Biltim they didn't move from there. Ela Molich Umevi Umale Umorid Ad Shehaya Vele Kol Hadula Lefanav Kim Durat Haish. But rather he would wave the flaming brands to and from, upward and downward, until he could see the whole diaspora in front of him lit up like a torch fire.
Know that capital cases are not like monetary ones. Dinei mamonot, Adam noten mamon u'mikabel lo. In monetary cases, a false witness can return the money and achieve atonement. Dinei nefashot, damo v'dam zlotav, trein bo ad sof ha'olam. But in capital cases, the blood of the victim and the future offspring hang upon you until the end of time. Sheken matzino b'kain sharag et achiv shene'emar dmei achicha tzoakim. For thus we find in regard to Cain, who killed his brother, the blood of your brother scream out. Eno omer dam achicha ela dmei achicha, damo v'dam zlotav. The verse does not say blood of your brother, but bloods of your brother, because it was the blood of his future offspring screaming out. לפיכך ניבא אדם יחידי ללמד שכל המאבד נפש אחת מישראל מעלה עליו הכתוב כאילו איבד עולם מלא. It is for this reason that Adam was first created as one person to teach us that anyone who destroys a life is considered to have destroyed an entire world. וכל מקיים נפש אחת מישראל מעלה עליו הכתוב כאילו קיים עולם מלא. And anyone who saves a life is as if he saved an entire world.
Rabbanit Chana Henkin is a renowned educator in Israel who unfortunately herself suffered a terrible tragedy with the murder of her children Harav Eitam and Naama Henkin, Hashem Yikom Damam. Please give your attention to Rabbanit Henkin for some words of inspiration in memory of Ezra.
Every conscientious Jew has to be brokenhearted over Ezra's murder. Ezra's parents, his siblings, his family, and his close friends are, of course, those who are most brokenhearted. But no Jew could look at the murder of a young person in Israel because he's a Jew. No conscientious Jew can look at the decades that were decades of life that were taken from Ezra without a broken heart. Ezra was in Israel to learn Torah. He was performing a deed of chesed. He was maybe at the finest point in his life. He had his excitement about being in Israel, about learning. He wanted to complete Tanakh. He felt so strongly about helping, about being part of the story of the land of Israel, and he is part of the story of the land of Israel. But what I wish to say to all of us now is what I said to myself after my own children. After my own children were murdered, which is that Hashem doesn't place us in this world with a free meal ticket. Hashem places us in this world with a task. And if anything, at this point, after Ezra was murdered, that task is enhanced because he's not here to do the task, and it's his family members, it's his friends who can carry on what Ezra had wished to achieve and what God had placed upon Ezra. That's our task right now. It's a task that can be performed by learning Torah. It's a task that can be performed by enhancing our ties with Israel. I don't wish to say that we don't all wish the sweetness of life. Of course we wish the sweetness of life. Of course we wish to rejoice. And there are moments of great joy in our lives. But I believe with all my soul that God has not placed us in this world for the purpose of enjoyment. He has placed us here. He has placed us here with each of us tasked with responsibilities. So what I think we should all be doing now is devoting ourselves doubly and triply to those values that Ezra so beautifully espoused. Let's learn more Torah. Young people who are hearing this, enhance your ties to Israel. There's an opportunity that Jews have now, after 2,000 years, to be part of the story of God's miracles in Israel. I hope at least some of you who are hearing my words will build your homes in Israel. And when you do, think of Israel. And think of what you're doing as the continuation of those values, of dedication to those values that Ezra's life was about. He's a book. May our learning, may our doing good deeds in Israel be an aliyah neshama for Ezra. Thank you.
We will now hear the final two Mishnayot, followed by a presentation from Rabbi Ephraim Goldberg. First, The final two Mishnayot representing Seder Taharot of the Mishnah will be first by MTA University High School for Boys, and finally representing Seder Nashim will be the Yeshiva High School in Boca Raton, Florida. Following the Yeshiva High School, over the past number of years, Rabbi Ephraim Goldberg of the Boca Raton Synagogue has not only inspired his own congregants with his words of Torah and wisdom, but particularly through social media, his words have provided inspiration and chizuk to thousands of Jews throughout America and the world. So after hearing from MTA and the Yeshiva High School, we will then be privileged to hear words from Rabbi Ephraim Goldberg from Boca Raton, Florida. First, from MTA.
In the future, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to give as an inheritance to each and every tzaddik 310 worlds. Shneimar, as the pasuk in Mishlei says, "Lahanchil hava yesh," to give as an inheritance to my people who love me, yesh, literally substance. But also the gematria of that is 310, which is where Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi learns that the tzaddikim in the future, the lovers of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, are going to get 310 olamos. Yorotzosehem MLA, and I will fill up their treasuries. Amar Yeshua ben Tzalafta says, "Lo matzah HaKadosh Baruch Hu kli matzik bracha Yisrael el hashalom." HaKadosh Baruch Hu was not able to find a kli that would hold enough blessing for Yisrael except for shalom. Shneimar, as the pasuk in Tehillim says, "Hashem Adonai Odam Oitein Adonai Yirech Es Hamo V'Shalom." Hashem will give strength to his people, and Hashem will bless his people with peace.
Kol ha'os a mitzvah achat, metivin lo, u'ma'arichin lo yamav, v'nochel et ha'aretz. Anyone who does a mitzvah, does more mitzvah than sins in their lifetime, is blessed with goodness, longevity of life, and an inheritance in the land, olam haba. V'chol she'eno os a mitzvah achat, ein metivin lo, ve'ein ma'arichin lo yamav, ve'eno nochel et ha'aretz. Anyone who doesn't do a mitzvah, does more sins than mitzvah, is not blessed with goodness, longevity, or olam haba. Kol she'eshno b'mikra v'mishnah v'derech eretz lo b'mhira hu choteh, shenemar v'hachut hamishulash lo b'mhira yinatek. Anyone who studies Torah, Mishnah, and behaves accordingly, and behaves properly, will not sin easily. As the pasuk from Kohelet says, a 3-ply cord is not easily severed. V'chol she'eno lo b'mikra v'lo b'mishnah v'lo b'derech eretz eno min hayeshuv. Conversely, anyone who does not study Torah, Mishnah, or behave accordingly is not considered part of society. Hadran alach shisha sidrei Mishnah. Hadran alach shisha sidrei Mishnah. Hadran alach shisha sidrei Mishnah.
Like most of you, I did not have the privilege and the honor to know Ezra, Zichrono Livracha. Like most of you, I was incredibly moved and touched by his tragic murder and by his sudden loss. But I want to speak to you for the few minutes that I have, not about the way that Ezra died, Al Kiddush Hashem, but how we can be inspired by the way he lived his life, by the way he lived Al Kiddush Hashem. The beginning of this week's parasha, which Rabbi Yudin pointed out, describes the death of Yaakov by introducing his life. Vayechi Yaakov be'eretz Mitzrayim 17 shana, vayehi yimei Yaakov shnei chayav 7 shanim v'arba'im u'ma'as shana. Is it yimei or was it shnei? Is it describing the days of Yaakov's life or the years of Yaakov's life? After one of the Gerer Rebbes passed away, at his funeral in the cemetery, one of his sons eulogized him and said about their father, "At least our father had arichas yamim." Arichas yamim is a term which connotes longevity, that he lived a long life. So his brother turned to him and said, "Our father died at a relatively young age. How could you possibly describe him as having had arichas yamim, longevity?" To which his brother answered, "I didn't say that he had arichas shanim. I didn't say that he lived for many years. I said that he had arichas yamim, that he lived long days, that every day that he lived was lived to his fullest, that he loved life, that he embraced life, that he lived a vibrant and enthusiastic life, that in life every day he tried to reach his potential, to realize who he was and who he could be. And so, my friends, none of us know how long we will live. And Ezra's life was cut so tragically short. We don't know how long our lives will be. But we do know that we can control the way we live each and every day. We may not achieve the arichas shanim. We may not achieve longevity in years. But like Ezra, every one of us could achieve arichas yamim by following his model to live life to its fullest, with kindness and sensitivity, with caring about the people around us, with having a contagious smile that lifts the life of others and brightens every room we walk into. Think for a moment that Ezra left this world at 18 years old, and yet look at the legacy that he leaves. 40 schools around the country, thousands of young people, not only for this 45 minutes, but over the last 30 days and undoubtedly going forward, will continue to want to emulate him, to want to lift the spirits of their friends, and to volunteer, and to finish Tanakh, and to smile, and to be an avid sports fan, and to be the life of the party. We can't control our arichas shanim, how long we live, but we can control how we live. I want to share with you an incredible poem by Linda Ellis called The Dash. Perhaps many of you have heard it. If not, Google it later and reread it again. I read of a man who stood to speak at the funeral of a friend. He referred to the dates on her tombstone from the beginning to the end. He noted that first came the date of her birth and spoke of the following date with tears. But he said what mattered most of all was the dash between those years. For that dash represents all the time that she spent alive on earth. And now only those who loved her know what that little line is worth. For it matters not how much we own, the cars, the house, the cash. What matters is how we live and love and how we spend our dash. So think about this long and hard. Are there things you'd like to change? For you never know how much time is left. You could be at dash mid-range. If we could just slow down enough to consider what's true and real and to always try to understand the way other people feel, and be less quick to anger and show appreciation more and love the people in our lives like we've never loved them before. If we treat each other with respect and more often with a smile, remembering that this special dash might only last a little while. So when your eulogy is being read with your life's actions to rehash, would you be proud of the things they say about you, how you spend your dash? I, like many or most of you, didn't know Ezra Schwartz, but we do know that he lived a full life. He lived life to its fullest each and every day. Even if his shanim, his years, were tragically cut short, his days were long and filled with love. And that's the legacy he leaves for each and every one of us. You and we are young. We think we'll live forever. We think nothing can stop us. And hopefully, please God, we will and will achieve longevity in years. But Ezra has taught us to remind ourselves and ask ourselves every day, how do we live? How would we be remembered today by friends and family? Are we living each day to its fullest? Are we dash the way he lived his life should inspire our dash? We can't control the years on the ends, but we can control the dash that comes in between. And by living our lives to our fullest, by ensuring that ultimately, please God, after many years, the things that will be said about us will be things we can be proud of. That is the great tribute and legacy that we can pay to Ezra Schwartz. Yehi Zichro Baruch.
At a Siyum, it is traditional to recite the Kel Malei Racham in prayer for the soul of the departed. Rabbi Dov Huff of the Maimonides School in Boston, the yeshiva high school that Ezra attended over the last 4 years, had a close relationship with Ezra and with the family. Rabbi Huff will now recite the Kel Malei Rachamim, and he will be followed by words of thanks and tribute from Mrs. Schwartz, Ezra's mom. Rabbi Huff. Everyone please stand up.
Shochein b'meromi Hamtzei menucha nechona Al kanfei hashechina B'ma'alos Kedoshim utehorim Kizohar harakia Mazhirim Es nishmas Yechiel Ezra ben Ariona Sheneherag al Kiddush Hashem Pavur Shebli neder no sunim tzedakah baras karas nishmaso Began Eden Tehei menuchaso Lachein bal harachamim Yastirehu b'seiser kenafav leolamim V'yitzror b'tzror hachayim es nishmaso Adonai hu nachalaso V'yanuach b'shalom al mishkavo v'nomar Amen.
Thank you for organizing and participating in this amazing learning project in memory of our son, Ezra. The outpouring of love and support we have received since Ezra's murder has been extremely heartwarming and comforting. We are so pleased with all the learning and mitzvot that have been done for Ezra and in his memory. We are so proud of Ezra. He was smart, fun, silly, loving, and a generous person. Ezra was killed on his way to do a chesed. The project he and his friends from yeshiva planned to work on that day was to continue to help clear the park at Oz V'Gaon in Gush Etzion. This park was founded in memory of Gilad, Naphtali, and Ayal, the 3 boys that were kidnapped and killed in June of 2014. Now Ezra's memory is etched in that same park. He was a wonderful son, a great brother, and an amazing friend. We will miss him dearly and hope to keep his memory alive through ongoing good deeds and acts of kindness. Thank you.
We're going to conclude with all of the United States, everyone on this, and Israel and Canada, everyone on this broadcast together to sing Achenu, led by Rav Eitan, and then one final message.
Achenu kol beis Yisrael. Hayacheinu kol beis Yisrael. Hanesuni batzara uvashivya. Haimdi bein bayam vein bayabash. Hayacheinu kol beis Yisrael. Hayacheinu kol beis Yisrael. Hanesuni batzara uvashivya. Haimdi bein bayam vein bayabasha. Hayamakayim Yerachem aleihem v'yotziem mitzara levachah umeyafei layaira v'mashibah le'geyola hashta bagala uvizman karim. Hamakayim Yerachem v'yotziem mitzara levachah umeyafei layaira v'mashibah le'geyola hashta bagala uvizman karim. Hanesunim Haimdi bein bayam uvein bayabasha. Hamakayim Yerachem aleihem v'yotziem mitzara levachah umeyafei layaira shebon le'geyola hashta bagala uvizman karim. One more time. Hayamakayim umeyafei layaira v'shebon le'geyola hashta bagala uvizman karim. Hashta bagala uvizman karim.
Thank you very much, Rav Eitan. Thank you for everyone for participating in the Siyum. Be'ezrat Hashem, through the Torah of Yisrael, through Medinat Yisrael, Eretz Yisrael, through Am Yisrael, as we rededicate our commitment to all these three ideals, may we, Be'ezrat Hashem, soon experience the coming of Mashiach. May we all experience the Geula Hashlema. May that day come. B'mehera v'yameinu amen. Thank you very much.